Hello, hello. How's it going? I gotta turn a bunch of stuff on today, so I hit go live and I gotta this and this and this and this. Well, we're rolling though. Today we're gonna switch it up a little bit. I didn't have anything else that was pressing or felt like it was worth doing on stream. As far as kind of our normal topics. So what we're gonna do today is poke around on my personal website a little bit. I haven't worked on the code too much lately. Most of what I've done on there though has been just a little like content type stuff, and that generally is handled through Obsidian, which I actually forgot to open. I'm gonna open up my actual Obsidian, but I want to make sure I don't. Like y'all see the Obsidian Vault that I'm using currently. Streaming setup, sure. It's a awful note, but we'll go with it. Yeah, that'll work. I will share. Go away. There we go. I'll share that so you can kind of see what my Obsidian setup sort of looks like. And I'll just move it back and forth off the screen if I don't want to show another page, because there's some more personal stuff in there. But I actually run a script, and it makes basically part of that vault public into like a hacked together API in which I can actually pull it on my front end. So I don't have to touch the code, and I can get messages up on, or not messages, I can get like articles and notes up on my website without having to touch the code. So I've been doing little updates here and there, but not actually to the code. So that's what we're gonna do today. Got my terminal up and my website, which actually I should do. I don't. Okay, we are in production. Git fetch, git pull. I'm running this in WSL, so if y'all have seen past streams, the terminal prompt and such look a little bit different, and I'm using WSL because I have to run this in a Linux type environment, so Mac or Linux effectively. Windows does not currently work with, at least I don't think so. There was slow progress on Toast, and I can't remember if we actually updated it to support Windows or not, or if that's still experimental. So I can't remember if the version that I have here is actually compatible with Windows. But I've been using it in WSL, and I have it all set up in WSL, so I'll just keep using that for now. And we can talk about Toast a little bit later. But this is my Obsidian setup. I think I'm using one of the pretty common themes. It's like the minimal theme, I think it is. But this, and I guess the slug, I suppose these 4 pieces of information are effectively requirements for the script that I'm running, particularly the progress. So there's seed growth, wow, what is the other one? And that's also another thing. I need to add a plugin to make selection of this easier, because I can never remember the other ones. There's the, here I can look at my let me just make sure I don't have, yeah, okay, so templates are fun to look at. I've got a bunch of templates, and I'm using a plugin called Templater, which with that, I've got this template is just used for everything, and it's sort of like the entry point into everything. So anytime I do anything, I make a new note, it pulls in this template. And this template has a whole bunch of if statements, which do templater like actions or functions. And then they conditionally include my other templates here. So like I've got a person template, a place, task, project, and I have an article template. And that article template, so the default, if I don't have anything, if I don't like do any special like syntax or anything that puts it into a different note, the default is just note and progress is seed, and that doesn't actually ship to my website. But at any point I can choose to say, I think it's growth, article, and then something else. I don't remember what the other one was, but both growth and article get pushed to the website. So as I'm writing a note, we can pull it off real quick and we can go back to the other one. Stream setup. As I'm like working on a note, like this is a very rough note. Was just dropping links and whatnot as I was, and actually some of it is probably outdated now. I actually switched off the 8 to mini because it worked fine. I wasn't terribly impressed, but I wanted it only supported 1080p at the end of the day, and I wanted to slowly work towards doing 4K. I was getting issues where it was flickering and it didn't run purely off of USB, so it wouldn't shut itself down, so it was just constantly on and it was getting hot. And I wonder if that had to do with a little bit with the flickering as well. But long story short, I ended up switching to a different streaming thing. But this is a bunch of the tech that I'm running to do the stream. So this camera is a Sony 6100? Or 63? 64? Yeah, it's a 64. Oh, you know what? I bet you that's somebody else's. I was taking notes on what other people are using. Yeah, so I use a Sigma 16mm and a 6400 Sony. But anyways, I basically toggle this and make sure I have a slug in there, and then it starts going to my website. So on the previous stream, we did... Come on, go away. We did this note. I started it and I don't think I actually filled it in much as we were talking. And then after the fact, I just dropped a bunch of the notes in here that we had talked about. And I changed this to growth, and then I added a slug. And then I ran a command alias, which uses the GitHub CLI and triggers a build. So we've got... Oh, I did not do... Didn't open up my stream page thing. My stream Chrome. Here we go. All right. So the GitHub CLI allows you to trigger workflow dispatches. So in this GitHub action, I have a repository. I've got a workflow dispatch. So I can trigger this workflow from the CLI. So I have an alias that basically just type in tTime, and it runs a whole GitHub CLI command that triggers this action, and then basically ends up just building it for me. Builds it, and then it pushes it up to Netlify. And I think I did this at one point because I wanted to be able to like push quickly and not have to worry about my Netlify build minutes. And I wasn't doing enough that I would benefit from like the Netlify plugins or whatnot. And then I also have a repository dispatch. So we've got a what is it? Actually, I think I got an article written about it on my website. So on my website, we've got the recipes page, and this is actually all sourced from Airtable. So I essentially have two integrations. I've got this hacked together API that pulls in Obsidian notes, and then I've got an integration with Airtable. And the recipes are coming from, I guess it doesn't, it's coming from an Airtable instance. Just going into it isn't that big of a deal. But if we look in my fetch directory, see what we're doing with Airtable. It's very similar to a plugin that I had written for Gatsby a while back. It uses the Airtable JS library, and effectively we're querying Airtable, grabbing all the stuff. We do some writing of... Okay, so this is writing the extra content. I think we fetched the cache file. Fetch next page. Thought we had it in here. Maybe I don't actually have it in here. Do I have it in Toast? Yeah, okay. Yep, that's where I'm doing it. I guess it's fine. What I ended up doing was they changed the way that they're doing their images, and it used to be that the images had a static URL, and I could just put that directly into an image SRC. They changed that, so now the URLs expire. I'm guessing they didn't want to pay for the bandwidth costs, which is a thing. So instead what I'm doing now is I'm calling this, I'm fetching it and then writing that stream of data directly to an image file. So Toast, for the most part, is doing a static build with primary, the primary, it's not really function. What's the word I'm looking for? The primary expected format. Maybe that's the best way to say it. I guess there's two ways that you can make pages. Using basically straight up Preact, or you can do. I think there's been experiments to do other things than Preact, but Preact, and then you can have like templates, and MDX is like the expected way to use those templates. So this all ends up getting piped into image files and JSON, I think, and I'm pulling in the JSON to make the pages. And you can see here we're sourcing draft articles from Google Drive. So I hacked together an API through Google Drive. So Obsidian has Obsidian Sync, which is nice. I use it. I'm happy to pay for it. They also have Obsidian Publish, which sort of makes like a bespoke website for you with your notes, but there's a little bit of friction there to use it, and then there's like no customizability, and like I've already gone through their effort and I want some of that customizability to integrate my notes into my website, and essentially reduce the friction from having something in my head to getting it into a note to getting it into a public forum, basically. So the quicker that process is and the less obstacles I have means the more that I end up writing and putting out there, because the medium of writing isn't terribly natural for me. Video, I much prefer working with video, but there's value to writing down as well. Not everybody's going to watch the video. So one of the things that I did more recently was on my articles, rather than requiring my article to be committed to the repo, I dropped this little icon on here, and the idea is that I'm not going to have like a separate sectioned off part of my website or anything. And some of the formatting could use a little bit of work, but basically it's just an indication, even if it's just for me to note that, there's no pun intended, to note that this is basically a note, and I'm not like there's nothing on here that I'm considering finished, but at some point you hit 80 or 90% of what a thing could be, and that's, I think, when I start qualifying it as like an article. So something with this tag is more of a note, and I feel that this indication helps to the reader that like this is a little bit more like stream of thoughts, and like some of these things just aren't. Oh, apparently this one's just straight up broken. I'd have to look at that. This was actually a little bit more done, I think. But some of the, like the CSM one is literally just a drop of links that I've just, as I've been dealing with ESM and different upgrades. Yeah. Basically, I've just been dropping links, and I haven't had the time to come back to it and like flesh this out more. But anytime I'm like working with a thing or something keeps coming up repeatedly, or I want to like write down a link or jot down some notes on something I did, just go right to it. I don't get enough of the metadata there that I can come back to it more easily. To make sure that I'm not just like making duplicate notes over and over with the same topic, but that this will eventually evolve. And anytime I go, oh, I'm hitting this ESM issue, I can just open up this note again, and I have any notes of like previous situations where I've dealt with this. And I've felt that's the best way to like grow content, for at least for me. So as far as the website goes, got a little bit of time today, maybe an hour longer. Can probably double check this. I'm not quite sure why that's failing. And I should probably actually put a 404 page on my website as well, so I don't get the default Netlify one. It would be nice to do like some sort of link checker to make sure I don't actually break links. But the other thing is justification. I would kind of like to deal with that. I set it up to where each one of these are like blocks. So if we look at our CSS and our HTML layout, we're using grid, and the grid spans the whole width. And the reason I did that was more of a visual choice, to where I can have code blocks be like full width blocks, and I thought it would be nice to kind of give it a sort of a visual like separation, because especially like just go to the code blocks and get a quick overview of like what the article is addressing, and like I can read this very quickly, so I can scroll to it and know if it's something that I'm going to need immediately. So like having a big visual indicator that like, hey, this is a code block, I thought would be nice. But the justification ended up being really difficult. So I might see if I can fix that today. But the first thing that I want to do is, we're not streaming on Twitch anymore. I'll probably, it's fine to like have links or whatever, but I don't think there's too much value to keeping that link this front and center. But I have been using Mastodon more. I actually don't remember what the profile setup is. Is it at? No. It might be actually. User/user. Yeah. Oh. I guess it's not that big of a deal. I didn't realize I was sending to Mastodon here. It's not like defaulting to that, is it? Must be like a cookie thing. Here. Yeah, okay. I want to put a link to this on my homepage. And on top of that, I also want to make sure that I put in a I guess it's in the link. I think it's Arela equals me in the actual link itself, so then this gets this verified check mark. I don't know that I can do it with YouTube yet. I don't remember. But it's just nice to like note that all of these are verified and like very specifically tie these two things together. So I'm gonna drop a link on there, and then I kind of want to see if I can fix the formatting, and that's what we're gonna hit on today. A brief aside though, the draft articles. So how do we get things out of Obsidian and into the website? So I'd mentioned that in this toast.js, this is a file that effectively lets you run a bunch of functions. So in the source data, I'm running a bunch of functions, and then I'm able to source. This is like a local file system source. And then I can set data for slug. So I can basically, now that I've pulled in and assigned all of this data to variables, so fetched it or sourced it directly from the file system, I can now pipe that data into actual like pages, so that pages then have props that I can use on my in my Preact components. And here's where we can do what we can set data for slug directly to a URL, which then maps to a page. So this page will get that data. So Garden will get this, but I can also use components. So here's where I've got a recipe component, which is like a template for it, and for each recipe, I can pipe in that specific recipe's data into this component. So it's probably pretty similar to other static site generators in the same vein that use Markdown. But this one is written by a friend. I've booked Rhonda and helped out with it a little bit, but primarily is written in Rust, and that's what makes it fast. So I actually tossed in, it's still a little bit in a raw format, I guess, but it works well for my use case. And being that it's written in Rust, it builds fast. So I think if I do, dev, I've got a watch script and scripts watch. I literally run a build anytime I change anything on the file system, and that's how fast it runs. I've got like I don't know, 150 pages or something like that. And there's like no incremental anything, like straight up build all 150 pages or whatever it ends up being. anytime I change a file, and it takes I don't know, a couple seconds. So the one caching mechanism, I guess that you could say. Oh, there's a new version of Surf. Yeah, it's fine. I don't redo the fetches. I don't actually need updated content from Airtable or updated draft articles when I'm doing dev work. So run it once, like it's fine to just use that. Like I read it out to the temp directory and I just continue to use that. So the build is basically all local file system. And it scales really, really well. Like you can build, I mean, last time we did benchmarks on it was a while ago. And I mean, it was like, I think we were able to get it to run with like 40,000 really simple pages, and it was taking like 30 seconds or something on my Windows box here, something like that. And then it runs even faster on M1s. Hey Chris, speaking of the devil, Chris is the one that wrote Toast. So yeah, so we're running the dev script and we're basically just rebuilding every time we make a change. Let's get the Mastodon link on our homepage. I think I have. Oh, not content. It is pages. Probably need to like reconfigure my homepage and how I'm pulling in components. Because I think, yeah. I know this was kind of awkward how I set it up, just because it was easier to migrate when I first moved over. But we're not going to deal with that. That will be another day. Let's remove Twitch. We are going to say Mastodon. Is that how you spell it? Mastodon? Mastodon? Mastodon. So it's that Midwestern accent. Mastodon. That's not really, that's more southern, isn't that? Hacky. I don't know if it's got a www in there, but we can check it. Pachyderm, which is a play on pachyderm, I believe. And content. Yep, that should be fine. Now I think I'm gonna need to pull in the social button. I'm gonna have to pull in a Mastodon icon. Yeah, got a bunch in here too that I don't need. I think those actually came with like the default create app. Social button, yeah. So I just have pass right now. I think I was using hero icon for it, so I can probably get rid of Twitch, and then we can go from there. Yeah, so like look at those rebuilds. Love to see it. I feel like that's gotten faster too. Like it takes longer for me to click over to the actual web page to look to see what my change looked like than it actually takes to rebuild. I think I got. Actually, now that I remember, I think dark mode actually, my toggle actually broke. And it's not working at all right now? That's curious. Interesting. I wonder why it's working on the main page. I think that might it works here, but I think on my articles page it wasn't working as of breaking changes in MDX. Yeah, yes, that doesn't work. I think it was breaking changes in MDX, and I updated for a workaround, and I think either I broke it or that broke it in the process. And I just never noticed. Because for the most part, this is like all HTML, so like I don't really. The bulk of my articles don't actually need any JavaScript, so like I don't have a reason to actually check. All right, let's get I think, was it hero icons? Can I just like copy and paste these? I think I can. Yeah. Just All right, Google. We just use something like this. The nice thing about, so the ones that I did, I think I got them as like black and white, and then I've just been changing the fill, which is part of the reason that I just copy and pasted them, because it was easier just to manually change it. Is there a date on this? So it's possible that is. I mean, it looks like it's still. Looks like it's still potentially current. Maybe it's a little bit updated. It looks about the same actually. Yeah, this works. All I really need is the path. Sure, we'll go with that. So Mastodon props. You know, it's kind of funny, like coming back to old React code or React code that I've written, just like seeing how both my code and just the general like what's best practices and whatnot in React have just changed over the years. It's kind of fun. Okay, so it looks I'm just setting a fill on the path, which I'm fine with. And I'll take that out, I guess. I've got them all above 50. And it looks like this is square. I don't really need a class, I don't think. I think that'll be fine. Go ahead and just remove that. Now, assume I didn't break anything. Mastodon. Mastodon. Do I? Oh, here, props. I don't know if I need the props in there. Can't remember what I did with those. Alright. So I think that should work. Except now I don't have any right there. So what did I do? Oh. I'm not in a different branch or something, am I? What do I got? Up to date. What? Not full fetch. Combining get pull and get fetch. Get pull. Production. And get log. Update. Yeah. It looks like I got everything here. Ooh. Was those social buttons not showing before? Is that in the hero section? No, it's its own section. Which apparently I've called section and everything else is a div. That's the other thing. This has kind of been like organic growth over time. Random little things continue to break. Social. Social is there. What the heck? I mean, it should be rebuilding it. Serving from that. Just watching the CSS. Oh, what did I click on? Did I tweak my watch script to not actually run the build? Run build. Building. Oh. I think I'm no-opping that's something here. Let's double check that we've got a current install and everything. I think so a bunch of this is written with ESM, which is and Toast is sort of written around that too. I can run the script without even having I guess I need to this is with Effection, yeah. So I had some node modules before. I'm wondering if it was what? Okay. Let's just do a build. Might end up bumping some of these too. What are we on? Looks like we've got pretty current stuff here. Patch package is fine. I think this Effection. Well, this Effection process is up to date too. We're getting triggers. Ow. Do I have articles here? Airtable. So here we can see in the temp file I'm writing out like JSON for Airtable. And I think I'm writing out my. Oh no, I put the markdown that I'm grabbing into the drafts folder. I think that's how I did it. Okay, so we're getting article fetch endpoint is not set. Let's here we're gonna just hide my screen for a second here. Actually, I think I have it set in my other. Oh, where would I have that written down? It's not there. Oh, here, I'm gonna work it on the side now. Yep. Okay. So I'm double checking in the scripts. And when I say scripts, I don't mean this scripts. I mean my fetch draft articles uses this, which is a Google Apps script. And so how I'm serving my Obsidian content is my Obsidian Vault is in a Google Drive. So when Google Drive syncs, it's now in the Drive service, and there is a scripts dot script, yeah, script.google.com. And yeah, sure. Do I have anything? Okay, I think this is fun to show. It's a little, just slightly edited from what I've got committed in the repo. So if you want this code, I've got this in my repo. You can copy and paste it. The only real main difference is no, I actually do have the checks in there. Slug. Yeah, it's just formatted a little bit different. So pretty much this, I think this code you can copy and paste. But this basically ends up based on the highlighting isn't great, but if it pulls in and parses the front matter, and then it based on the front matter, making sure those are filled in, and then I do have that little bit extra. If front matter is article or growth, then it also pulls it in. So anything that's not one of those two, it just doesn't include in my in this push. And basically what this ends up doing is it does a whole bunch of file blobs and then creates a an endpoint that basically is serving a JSON file that has been dynamically created by the script. And then it's kind of like a static API endpoint. I just hit it in my fetch and I got a JSON blob of all my NDX content, which gets the job done. I would definitely prefer a more official API from the folks up at Obsidian, of which I would happily pay for. But here we are. So what's that URL? Deployment to executions. Okay, I think I do I'm gonna hide for 1 second again here. I think I can do it's the web app URL. And we're gonna set article fetch endpoint. And I think it's this. I feel like it doesn't end with exec. Fetch all Airtable. Okay, that didn't work. So I'm just doing a fetch directly to that URL. We are going to write this down. So we deploy this. Oh, it's still working. Deploy this script and use the web app URL. So this does basically make it publicly accessible. What are we hanging on here? The URL, I'm pretty certain it's this. I don't remember if it's supposed to end with exec or something else. I might have to poke on that a little bit. We basically end up getting like a publicly accessible URL with an ID that's specific to like that deployment. And then it should just do the thing. All right. So we fetch the Airtable stuff. We're hanging on something. What are we hanging on? Well, that's doing its thing. Let's go over to the action real quick. You can just see the last deploys. Oh, what's that annotation? So the downside of like not touching this very often is things start to become outdated. So the benefit of not having a server is that it only is going to change when you push. The downside is that if you aren't pushing, or you're pushing in the background, and you're not looking to see how these builds and whatnot go, it might not actually push. So the benefit of putting it on the server is that theoretically everything's always fresh. You still have to update stuff on the server, but you have more incentive to continue to keep that fresh. That is also more effort potentially. Yeah, but trade-offs. Everything has trade-offs. All right, so we want to look at this. Ubuntu latest is fine. Hey, there we go. Now it ran. And check out v3. So check out v2 was still on node 12, and then they bumped it to node 16 on v3. So that would be why that annotation was throwing an error. And like if we look at my build, I'm running an actual like Netlify build. Okay. So it could be timings. Here, fetch. Yeah, so my fetching of the content, that's where the bulk of this time is. So the actual like build in CI, so probably not massive boxes or anything like that. It's taken something like 7 seconds for the build, and it looks like it's like 23 or something for the CSS stuff. Not sure this is done yet. Something is done in less than a second, but this all seems newer. Like I'm not getting those timings, am I? Oh yeah, I guess I am. Okay. All right, so if we just do serve, I've got Volta on here, right? Volta list, yep. Volta install serve. So when you run a build, there's no like built-in dev server with Toast. It's not a big deal because it builds so fast. We can just serve the basically like that public directory that it builds to, and we can use a package called, which I'm using a package called serve, which then I can serve that public directory. Okay, let's see if that, there we go. Yeah, so I wonder if my watch script is potentially has an issue. So it was throwing an error and it was catching it. But we've got the thing. So if I click it, it should take me to Hecaderm. Sweet. Here, let's do new incognito. Because I know that won't sign me in. I don't think I've got anything in there that would be a problem if I signed in. Good to go. All right. So what we also need to do is in Mastodon, there is Mastodon verification. Yeah, I mean, I'd prefer to just use their website, but whatever. Yep. They've got your linked website must contain a link back to your Mastodon profile. The link back must have a rel equals me attribute. And honestly, like, it's probably fine to put it on everything. Like, I don't care if every link has a rel equals me. So I'm just gonna chuck it in there and be done with it. So we've got an href with a class, and we'll just do rel equals me. And I think that's gonna be enough to do the verification stuff. Let's just go ahead and PR that up real quick here. It's fine if we include a couple things in this. I'm not being too particular here. We are going to do git checkout swap Twitch for Mastodon, I think. Probably open font on this too. We're just gonna say the exact same thing. Swap Twitch link for Mastodon. And get push. That's annoying. So using GitHub auth? GitHub auth login. I don't know if that matters, but I guess we'll find out. All right, git push. Yeah, looks, oh, that's nifty. Looks like I set up the auth through the GitHub CLI, which is kind of cool. I forgot that you could do that. So we should have a PR up, or a branch up rather. Yeah, we'll just roll with it. You don't need to do a description. I do have builds on, like, what builds on the PR, so we can wait a hot minute for that build to finish. And then, and it'd be real nice to, like, do we cache the content on the PR? No. It would be nice if the build went a little faster, but I'm kind of limited by the data coming in. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it that much faster, so it's probably not worth trying to address it at the moment. Okay, I'll do npm run dev. So now we don't have this. Let's add a git checkout production. Add 404 page. And I think we can nullify 404. I think we just included 404. Custom 404 page. Okay, so custom 404 pages. Set up a custom 404 page for all paths don't resolve to a static file. So if you added a 404.html page to your site, then it's just going to go to that. So what we could do is, I think we don't do anything particularly fancy, and is my about page, yeah, my about page is a MDX document. I don't think I'm gonna bother with that. I think I'm just gonna go straight up and just say, all my pages have column layout stuff, which I don't really want for a 404 page. So I'll just do this, and I think if I do 404, sure, we can update. Now, do I need to update my toast? I don't think I actually need to pipe any data into it, but I don't recall. I think I have to call set data for slug. Yeah, so like my about. Source MDX. Here I'm sourcing all my articles, drafts, and notes, pages. Set data for slug. That's the home page. About, uses, articles, garden. I don't think I actually need to do too much here. So we're gonna go like this. We're gonna go like this. Page type is page, I guess. And we're gonna lop off all of this. I don't need the removal of the service workers anymore. I probably could just completely get rid of that, to be honest. We're gonna take, let's see. I think we can go like that. And then this is going to just move directly up here. We don't need image or any of these. We still need the Preact. What is that called up top? All I can think of is preamble, but that's a Rust thing. Whatever. We still need Preact up at the import up at the top, and we're probably going to use those components. We're just gonna go like this. And I think at some point I probably want to put like a search or something on here, but for right now we're just gonna say I am going to put my social links there again, actually. And then what I can do, this, like that. Just straight up copy and paste. And now what I can say is, I would be extremely appreciative if you I also don't spell extremely appreciative if you let me know about this. This missing page, I guess. We'll go with that. Socials. Okay. So now that should give us, we should be able to still visit it here. I do need to start that again. Well, that's going. We have our updated site with the Mastodon link. Boom. Let's give that a merge. So this should be done. I wonder if we can visit it. It is also possible that whatever watch script I have set up is also not building this. And like, what is it doing at this point? I'll have to double check. Oh, number 404 would be a number, so it should be up at the top. Yeah, I don't see it. Let's just do an npm run build. It's gonna requery everything and whatnot, but be certain that we're getting it there. Then I think we can just chuck it up. In the meantime, so we were getting an error with the Starship article. And our slug is starship.rs. I wonder if that dot is messing with it. I'm gonna just try changing it to a dash. I think I'm okay with that. Not 100% certain. And it might actually end up doing some of that anyways. Here, suppose we go, if we go to this and we go here, go here. Oh. If we look in our public directory, we should have a Starship. What does that look like? Starship. Just no, yes, there's no, so it's stripping it. So anytime we'll have to be a little bit careful with anything with a dot. There we go. Okay, I'm okay with the dash, so we'll update that slug so that one should work. And on the next deploy, it should start pulling in that. So it should be golden there. And what is with? I guess it's just that fetch content from the Google Drive that takes forever. Reference error. Social button is not defined. You would be correct. Index. Social button. There we go. So give that another build. So this should be live. Now if we go to, there we go. And if we go to Mastodon, open it up as an incognito so we don't get, we get just my default profile. It might take a minute for that to update. Yeah, let me do it in my browser where I'm logged in. Okay, so it's gotta have the rel equals me. And if we inspect it, you have rel equals me, and that looks like it doesn't have the www. Whoopsie doodles. That's fine. We'll just add it to this. I don't. Doesn't really bother me that much. We do want to, so this is actually wrong too. So I need a merchant from the main branch to get the updated Hackaderm stuff, or the updated social stuff there. And I guess while we're waiting, we can just abstract this out. Said I wasn't going to, but if we're using it in a couple places and we're waiting for your build anyways, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Git checkout production, git fetch, git pull, git switch dash, take me back to the branch I was just on. Get rebase reduction. I'm gonna I've unstage changes. Yep, you'd be correct. Get stash. Get rebase. That's fine. I should do the. There we go. Successfully rebased. I should change my I like the VS Code interactive rebase. It's nice, but it seems I haven't actually set it up for this. Get stash pop. So it looks like I used Nano or something. I think that was Nano. There we go. So social from, we're importing our components, social button index. So that's just social button. I feel like the only time I'm actually going to use this will be when I'm pulling in all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop this whole thing here, and we're just going to call it a day. Now I'm not quite sure why I named it social, or I put it in the folder like that, but we're gonna just do this. Update imports, yes. And we're also gonna do this and update imports, yes. And we're gonna technically I don't actually the Git isn't going to pick up that folder delete, but for my own benefit, I'm just removing it. So now I need to update social here, and I need to update social here because I'm not importing the button, I am importing social. There we go. Let's give that a build real quick just to make sure I didn't goof anything. And then, yes, we need to update the link. So, Mastodon should be this. And we did have the rel equals me, so that should be good to go. Like I said, I don't think it really matters for any of these, but that's fine. I'm actually. What is the Mastodon verification? I guess the only other one that I really care about is YouTube. Can you actually verify it with YouTube? I'd rather not watch something. Unfortunately, it says YouTube, so then it searches the videos, and I'm getting videos of verification in general. Not seeing anything. Not the end of the world, though. We will just not worry about it for the moment. So we should have a 404 page, and we should have. I guess we've mostly just added a 404 page in this case. Git. We are in our branch, right? On branch, yep. Git commit. Add 404 page. Git push -u origin head. So what that's doing is it's pushing. -u is setting that remote pushed as the tracking branch for the branch that you're on locally, and origin head. Origin would be the get remote that you're make that a little bit bigger. The get remote that you're pushing to, and then head is just saying we use the head of this branch, which ends up I can always say head, and whatever I named my local branch, it's gonna push that up. So here we get branch local, set up a track remote, this which we just pushed to origin as I just mentioned. And that means that I can be rather helpful / descriptive in my branch naming, and I don't have to retype it every time, which is nice. So I've removed that disincentive. Not that I'm being terribly descriptive here, but that's fine. Okay, we'll give that a second to build. We are getting close to quitting time here. But the thing that I wanted to do, the last thing that I wanted to do was see if I could deal with these articles and the justification. Where is that? Components, I guess? Maybe article? Wrapper article. So we've got justify center right now. And it's fine. This is still going right. Yep. So the code block that extends all over the edges I still like, but honestly, if it's going to be really this big of an uphill battle to get it to work and everything else to be nice, I might just chuck it for right now. This is using Tailwind, so yes, kind of chatty classes, but it allows me to get stuff done pretty quickly. And dealing with this justification isn't really a Tailwind issue, I don't feel like. Tailwind, let's see, so CSS.com. Yeah. So we've got justify center, justify item center. Don't feel like we want to do that. Localhost 3000 articles, and sure, we'll go with this one. So we basically want to have like this container. We've got a grid. Is there anything that we can do with the grid that would help us out here? So the max pros, so I'm setting the margin to be auto and doing a flex. So it's a flex box column. Which actually is not doing anything even, because we now have this article. Flux this, gotcha, okay. Yep, so that makes sense. So our actual article, yep, is margin on the top, and then we're using a grid, and then doing justify item center. So let's take off the justify item center to start off with on our article, and we've set a max width pros. I am tempted to give that go as well, but I think what that's going to end up doing is this is, yeah, that's not working. That's gonna be annoying. Let's take a peek at our watch script real quick. I might have just turned off builds because I was testing CSS things. Main. So we run, and then do file watcher. File watcher starts watching for tractors, so that should see events. So we are watching all of the directories. I wonder if it's just closing right away. So, I think it's just yield file watcher. Do we have, this is actually saying that it's rebuilding. So the last thing that we see is rebuilding, which is probably the initial run build. No, actually, no, we're doing serve and we're running the CSS stuff. So it just watches our CSS. Run watched command, that's fine. It's not actually used. Run build. So run build here. So we started file watching, we ran a build. Then we make a channel. And we're not actually getting any events. So on watcher. Yeah, so we're not getting any events, are we? Wonder if it's something with this channel flushing it or something. Here, let's give that a shot real quick. So it's not actually like running a rebuild. And it should work in anything. So if I, okay. So rebuilding. And that's doing a yield file changes run build. There we go, rebuilding. There, yeah. So it was, we're using a library called Affection here. It is generator based and does some scoping, structural concurrency, buzzwords. Effectively, you end up writing generators, which is what this function star is, and it is basically running these generators to completion within the Affection scope. And run build is also a generator, in which case I need to, you can kind of think of it as like async await. So this is running asynchronously, so I needed to basically wait for that to complete. So we were firing it off and we were like running out of scope and just killing it right away. So the run build wasn't actually completing. So I, rather than just a function that's executing a thing and it never like completing, I do yield, so now it should basically run that to completion. And you can see we're getting millisecond changes here, which is pretty nice. So the bulk of our time is in this fetch. It would be nice to deal with that and lower that time, but it's where we're at. Okay, so we took off the, oh, we still have just my item center here, don't we? Rebuilding, done. It definitely should be updating, so maybe there is still some issue here. So we're getting this. So we're doing file changes.send, and then we're doing the debug. So we're getting the thing changed to rebuilding. No, we're just getting rebuilding. Really need this anymore. Where is that log coming from? Started watching console.debug file changed to rebuilding. But that's different than rebuilding ... I wonder if that's coming from the no build. Is it coming from building? It's definitely saying rebuilding. Rebuilding. But there's no rebuilding in this script. Which is odd. Watcher add on link and change. So we should be getting events from the watcher. What is Choctaw on? Okay. It is on the latest. Okay, so spawn.for each. Wait, on watcher. Oh, so this is a function. A function doing a generator. So, wonky way to do that. Bet you that's my issue here. So that is done. Rebuilding. I'm still not getting, like, this right event is still not like coming through. Create a channel. Then we send to it. We're spawning off a watcher. We're definitely not getting here. Where's that rebuilding coming from? That's very confusing. I can't remember if this goes over scope or if for each will like continue to execute, or if it's like a in the vein of a spawn. I think it's should continue to execute. I don't have a return anywhere, so those are executing the things here. We have a resource. Okay, run watch command. So a resource, these should all like run in parallel effectively. Return child, it's fine. And these are slightly different because run build and run daemon are different. So the run daemon will be continually running services, which is what serve and the CSS watcher are doing. I wonder if there's something with the events or something changed and I just didn't notice. Because we should get started file watching. And we're not getting anything that says started file watching. So is chalk, what's the chalkdir.watch? Tell me go. I think we'll probably end up like getting this working and then just calling it chalkdir watch. Is that async? So chalkdir watch, and then it's got a bunch of events. So we can initialize the watcher, which is what we've done. And then we can do we add files. So this is going to be the initial working set. I wonder if that's like a directory thing. I mean, I'm changing it here, so I don't think that is. Persistent, ignored, follow symlinks. It defaults to true, so I think that's fine. Follow symlinks. So CWD has no default. What's the initialize? So we can watch the specific thing and then ignored and persistent. True. Persistent is defaults to true. Paths are a string or an array of strings. So I could do a CWD. Oh, we do have it returns an object representing all the paths in the file. Okay, so if we do I suspect we're actually like not getting things somewhere in here. So if we do like a console.log watcher.get watched, and seems to be you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this. And we're gonna make this a. I think we're running out of scope and things are just not working how I'm expecting it to. We're gonna make it a resource, which this init is sort of like a special syntax for that. Next version of Affection is gonna get rid of these this special syntax, and these resources have been, I think, much more useful than anticipated. Okay, so it started. Still not getting any logs. We're not getting the started file watcher. We are watching CSS. So we should get the time end anytime we do that. And we need to be, okay, so serve. Label command. Did our serve command change? No port switching public. I don't know what those are. Serve public. Serve public. So we're not getting the. I think actually this was working as I was expecting it to. We would just. I mean, that's fine. We can leave it that way, and that's probably fine. But the serve is not. Expect error if connections. So it looks like it's serving it. Okay. So if I want to here we can do if chunk includes. Okay. Yeah. So we can say here local host. So that way it will give us error or give us standard out. And here errors. If chunk includes expect error. Okay, so the expect is going to throw if it includes that chunk of text. I don't love that, the way that I did that. Do not love the way I did that. That's probably the reason for it not working. So this is basically gonna just run and wait until. Yeah, okay. So I am actually logging out standard error for each console.error. I don't think I actually need a generator here, but just for consistency's sake, I'm gonna take these off. Just go with this for right now. Because I think what happened is serve updated. And now like the text is different and it's goofing up my... It's goofing up my command here, dash H. So what are our options? We want a dash N. What is N? No clipboard. Do not copy the local address to the clipboard. Okay, I'm actually kind of fine keeping that. No compression. Do not compress files. Sure. No port switching. Do not open a port other than the one specified when it's taken. And then public. I'm okay with all that. The watching public. I'm gonna do that. No. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So we should get a, okay, watching CSS, watching public dir. Okay, accepting connections. Where were we getting that before? Maybe we were. There we go. I think we got it further. So here, if we're getting to the file watcher as expected, we should get a rebuilding. Does seem like it's watching the directory as I would expect. We're not getting a list of watched files though, and we're not getting started file watching. So this definitely needs to be a log, because I don't have a time end. But I'm not getting a watching started file watching. Yield. Main. So I think if I just do this, it should, yep, just exit. So it'll watch and exit. If I put it in a yield, it will just continually just get stuck at that, and you can only, yeah. So the start file watcher, the rebuilding is coming from something. That must be from the CSS. And what does that look like? What is that watching? Build CSS watch. Okay, so it's looking at Tailwind config. Okay, so it's looking at everything. I think that's what we want. The rebuilding is just not doing what we're expecting it to. So the start file watcher should be getting started here. Start yield file watcher, turn init. So that all seems fine. Let's just do this for a second and then make sure that we're getting, at least getting this. Yeah, started file watching. Okay. So now if we do this and we can do a create channel and this. Okay. So we're stopping on the yield here, and we're going into the file watcher, and we're running the init, which should be giving us a console time. And it doesn't look like it is. Let's just hide those for the moment. It's so weird that we're not getting it's like not going into this last one, and I don't understand why. It's a generator. We've got yields. It's a resource. Oh wait, if it's a resource, I don't need to make it a generator. There we go. Okay. Now if we do this, do that. There we go. Okay, so we're not watching any files, which is what I was thinking was going on. I don't know where the I mean, I could set the CWD. CWD. The idea here is that we should be seeing a list of... Oh, you know what? I'm calling get washed potentially before it's ready. There we go. Okay, so now it's waiting for it to be ready. We're getting a whole bunch of files. Ignored. We do want to ignore the .git directory. And it looks like I am going up more levels than need be. There we go. So now I'm not sure if this is like the whole path to it. I guess this is all... I'm not getting anything above this path. At least it doesn't look like it. I'm kind of okay with all that. Alright, now we should be able to do this, because these will be like initial events. Watcher should be ready, and then we can get watched. Then we'll run a build. And I think we should be able to do all this now. Yeah, and that file watching is going to take a hot minute. There we go. So we got a build. Toast ran in 3 seconds. Build command. There we go. So I think what was actually happening was the... Go ahead and change this. It should rebuild it. Yep. When it runs the build, on build, we are setting environment variables. So site file cache is true. So we're not actually hitting the endpoints. So that should go pretty quick. And then we're basically just running a build anytime we hit save. So what was happening was this was getting stuck on here. We were waiting for specific text before we continued, and we weren't getting the specific text anymore. So I'm guessing, I don't remember timeline wise when I upgraded serve, but I think I had upgraded serve and that threw this off. And when I changed this to a resource, this needs to be a function. So a resource is a function that returns a generator with init. And again, whenever eFunction v3 comes out, like that should be a lot less opaque, because that is clearly easy. I've done it before, and I know it's a thing, and I still got caught by it. So, but yeah, we were getting stuck in here. So something changed in our serve command, which I mean is not unexpected because we're just using, whatever thing is available. So like this has no way to know if there was breaking changes. So it's completely fair. And we do a build up front. So we're watching CSS, watching public directory, started file watching. So file watching starts up pretty quick. All of them actually are starting up pretty quick. This rebuild here, that is Tailwind CSS. We're sourcing directly from the file system or in the temp directory rather than actually fetching. And then this is a list of all the URLs and then toast runs. Bam. Okay, so I think we got that working. So now this should be. Ooh, let's give this a check real quick over here. That might still 404. No, we fixed that. That should be gone. And get status. What am I on? Add 404 page. Okay. Social is its own section. And in the pages 404, I've got this main where it's basically just like squishing it. So I think I can do because this whole thing is going to end up getting wrapped. That will move it below. So rather than being in that container up above, it's going to be below it. Let's look at our here. Now it's not. And some of these aren't, like that doesn't look great, but I think we're gonna deal with that another day. I can probably large text left. I could probably go ahead and just. Oh, it's centering the text that way. Okay. Let's justify. Relative justify content center, I think it was. What one did I remove from our article? Justify items center. Or for justify items center. I don't know. I'm honestly fine with left justified for right now. Let's just take this out. We'll take that out. Mix auto. Actually, I could probably put it in one of these. Main justify item center. Yeah, it's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it for right now. And I'm obviously not going to commit this up because that's now very broken. But that's fine. We'll just throw the watch script fix in with this 404. Git commit, and then I think we're gonna call it a day. Fix justification for social links, and then fix watch script for whatever. Watch script is fine. We're gonna push that up. When that all gets done, we'll go ahead and merge it. But I think that's gonna be it for today. I wouldn't mind coming back to this occasionally, doing a little bit more website stuff here. It looks fine. I would love to do a little bit more design work on it, but I'm not. Design isn't my strong suit, so I don't know. I've been tempted to bring somebody on and kind of give me a little bit of design work help, but it hasn't happened yet, so maybe in the future. We'll probably pull this an event, or sort of like a ongoing thing every handful of streams, break things up a little bit. But yeah, it was nice to get back into things, get a couple of random things updated. Others next time. Obviously still Friday stream. Still looking at changing the schedule. I just haven't figured that out yet. Life has been busy. But we'll look for that. I try to schedule all of my streams, even if it's just like scheduling it an hour or two ahead of time. But I think once I get a good schedule figured out, I'll probably schedule a couple out into the future. So it's a little bit easier for people to follow along and hop in live. It's always fun to see questions live and whatnot. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Have a happy Friday. Feel free to hit that subscribe button and get notifications for when the next stream comes up. And I know I keep saying it, but videos, they're a thing that are hopefully coming soon. Yeah. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. See you next time. Bye.